Hey Thrivers, how are you doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day. I am ecstatic to be here today and to share a quick message with you guys. I know I didn't give a lot of warning that I was doing this live stream, so I'm going to give it a little bit of time, let people jump on here. But I really felt it in my heart to share a message of hope and a message of hope to all of you wonderful members of this group. And oh, I just realized I'm missing an earring. Sorry, I was on the phone. That's what I have, this, reflection going on here. So now that I have two earrings on, let's dive right in. But I know that maybe you are in a place where you're feeling a lack of hope and that maybe things are very challenging for you in your relationship right now. We work with, we speak to about 5 to 6 couples a day that are struggling with issues in their marriage, and a common theme is this back and forth between knowing what you want, having a desire for this relationship, and then seeing where you're at now. And sometimes that can create a sense of hopelessness or frustration about where you are compared to where you really want to be. Maybe you're not seeing the things that you want in your partner. Maybe they're not showing up for you the way that you want them to. Maybe you're not showing up the way that you want to, and you don't know how to change. You don't know how to get out of this rut. Well, first of all, I want to commend all of you for being members of this group. I want to welcome all the new members. We have new members every single day, and that's wonderful. So welcome. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're coming from and what your story and your situation is. And so because you have joined the Thriving Marriage, this group, that is an indication right there that you have hope for your marriage. You wouldn't be here if you had already given up all hope, right? If you'd already thrown in the towel and that was it, then you wouldn't have joined this group. You wouldn't be reaching out and asking for help or asking for support and looking for solutions. That is commendable, okay? Not everyone in the world will even do that much. Some people, they know, they have an idea of what they want, but they don't even take action to get it. So the fact right there that you are a member of this group indicates to me that you do have at least a seedling of hope. And what we want to do is nourish that hope, just like a seed, so that it becomes strong and so that it gets root. And I want to illustrate this with a little bit of an example here with the seed. But it feels kind of like sometimes we're walking on that really fine line. Oh, and hi, I see some of you are joining in. So welcome. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know where you're coming from so I can say hi to you. And if you have any questions, let me know. So it seems like we're walking kind of a fine line sometimes, that we have this hope, but it feels like we can go either direction fairly easily, right? We have hope one moment, and then we have discouragement, anger, fear, frustration the next. And it's kind of this back and forth play by play where we feel like we're kind of being buffeted by the winds or the waves that are coming at us. And what I would like to encourage us to do is, rather than be reactionary to everything happening around us, to learn how to steer our ship toward what we want. And the way that we do this, and the mindset work that I train people on, is with the law of focus. And the law of focus simply is that what you focus on grows. And that you can really only hold one of two energies is what I mean to say, one of two energies in you at the same time. Okay? And the one energy is hope, and it is love. And the other energy is fear and death. Okay? And I discovered this firsthand when I was fighting breast cancer, that I had these two energies in me. And which one was I going to choose to feed? One meant hope. It meant life. It meant life for me and for my baby that was growing within me. I was pregnant at the time. And if I held fast to that, then I was feeding that positive, nourishing energy and making it stronger. But it was just as easy, and it might be just as easy for you in your marriage right now, to slip into the fear mode of, this is really difficult. This is really challenging me. I am, all these things are happening and I didn't ask for this, or maybe I did, and now I don't know how to get out of it. I feel so stuck with where I am. And this problem that's in front of me, this huge mountainous wave that's coming at me, feels more than I am capable to handle on my own. And if I allowed it, that fear and that doubt would absolutely crush me. So I knew I had a choice. And this is the same choice that you have. You can either feed the energy that gives life, that gives light, that gives hope, that gives healing, that gives happiness, that is pure love. Or you're going to be feeding that energy of doubt. And I see this happen all the time when I'm working with people. Oftentimes we determine exactly what they want in their relationship. Yesterday I asked you, what does it take to have a successful marriage? And so many of you gave really, really great answers. So good job for that. If you're just joining in, go ahead. Let me know. What do you feel like it takes to have a successful marriage? What is it that you really want in your marriage? Okay, because your first step is to define what you want, to know exactly what you want in positive terms, not just, I don't want them to criticize me. I don't want them to do this. I don't want this anymore. Flip it around and find the positive reversal of that. So I do want a companion that supports me. I do want to come home to a house that is full of peace, where I can relax, where I can let go and just be myself, where it's okay to make a mistake, where I can share openly, I can be vulnerable. That's what I want, right? I want fun. I want passion. I want intimacy. I want connection. Whatever it is to you, whatever matters most to you, define what it is that you want. And then when you know what you want, be careful of what energy you choose to feed. Like I said, I see this all the time. People will even define what they want, but then it's so much easier to slip back into that fear, that doubt, and that negativity. Candace says, I want to be wanted. Yeah, absolutely, Candace. That is a huge, really natural, human emotional response. We want to feel significant. We want to be important. We want to know that we are a priority in our spouse's lives and, in other people's lives as well. But we're talking about marriage here. But yeah, you want to know that you're wanted, that you're special, that your husband or your wife, whatever your situation is, they're like ecstatic to see you. They ask you how your day is. And they make you feel special. They make you feel important, right? And Melissa said, both partners need to be on the same page. I find I'm the positive one and he tends to be negative. Okay, so this is a really good illustration again, Melissa. I'm going to go into this in a little bit. What to do when you feel like you're doing everything you can to shift your focus to that positive energy, but something else keeps dragging you down, or someone else, there's outside influences that are encroaching and maybe threatening some of that hope that you have. And so how do you handle that kind of situation, right? Or maybe you are the one that's more negative, you can call it realistic or whatever, but you're choosing to feed an energy that is not ultimately serving you and what you really want at the core of your being, okay? And if you take a step back from it all and you look at what you're doing, you realize it's kind of insanity, but we do it. We get stuck in these habitual responses. And we have ways of protecting ourselves. We feel like we're safer if we don't allow someone in. We feel like we're safer if we look at what's going wrong. Okay, our brains are actually trained to look at what's going wrong rather than what's going right. This is something we inherited from our ancestors because back on the savannah, they had to always be aware of what was going wrong. Otherwise, if they were just like picking flowers and singing songs, they could get eaten by like a lion. Right? So inherently, we developed this instinct that we always need to analyze what's going wrong. And hey, Eric, how's it going? Croatia, very cool. And so what we need to do is we literally have to retrain our brains to notice what is going right. And this goes right back to that law of focus. Are you focusing on what's going wrong? Are you focusing on every little bump in the road? Or are you focusing on what's going right? Are you seeing the bigger vision? Are you steering your ship toward the destination that you want? Or are you allowing these things to trip you up and hold you back, keep you small, keep you frustrated, and keep you just, in that really negative space? So do some self-reflection here. Where do you think that you're at? How much hope do you have for your marriage? How much hope would you like to have? How do you get there? Right? These are some of the questions that we can sit back and ask ourselves. If I'm not feeling very hopeful, why do I feel that way? What can I do about it? Recognize, just like I did, with fighting breast cancer, that you have a choice as well. You have a choice if you're going to give in to that fear, that frustration, that darkness, or are you going to choose in a moment by moment, day by day, instance, that you are going to choose to feed the good energy. And with that law of focus, miracles will start to unravel in your life, right? That'll start to unfold for you. It's amazing. Okay. I know it's getting a little philosophical, but this is really what it takes, is this law of focus. And when you have that little seed of hope, there are things that can absolutely scorch it and kill it if you don't protect it. So how do we strengthen that level of hope? Okay, that's what we want to talk about. So we're comparing hope to that little seedling, and I'm sure everyone has planted something at some point in their lives. So you can relate to me on this one, right? So when you have that little seed, what happens is you have to give it the right nutrients, the right sunlight, the right conditions, okay? So in our lives, we have to give ourselves the right conditions to allow hope in, all right? And that is going to come about in different ways, but the crux of it is that you need to give yourself thinking time. You need to give yourself quiet time. You need to give yourself self-care. You need to give yourself nourishment, self-care, love, forgiveness. And these are things that you're going to have to do regularly to retrain your brain to get out of the cycle that you might be in. Okay, so just like with the seed, those are the conditions that we need to have for the seed, is the sunlight, the soil, the water, and then it sprouts, right? And it's really, really tender, right? It's really kind of in a fragile state right now. And so if we put that little seedling out into the heat of the noonday sun, it would get scorched, right? And so sometimes you might be sending forth a little bit of hope, but then your spouse or someone else comes and they scorch it, right? They just decimate the thing out of it. And so what you need to do is you need to build up your walls of protection to say, no, this is my hope. This is what I want for my marriage, and I'm going to hold fast to it no matter what. Okay, and you have to build some layers of protection and saying, I am going to stand fast to this. I am the master of this ship. I am the master of my fate. This is where I'm going, so you can either join me or please kindly get out of the way because this is what's happening here, right? We're going to do this thing. And when you make that commitment, then you can stand fast despite what anyone else might be challenging you with. So Melissa was talking about that her husband or her partner tends to be negative. Yeah, he tends to be negative. And so I'm not sure if that's really if that affects you, because everyone's different with those different kind of relationships. But this is a really common one, is that, you make this resolve that this is what you want in your life. And then your mother comes in, and your brother and your sister and your best friend, your spouse, even sometimes your own children. And they're saying, no, you really shouldn't do that. That sounds like it's a little bit far-fetched. You need to look at the reality of what's going on here. And if we allow that, then that can totally crush our hope and our dream. And what we have to do is to connect to that gut level desire and not let anything else stray us from that. That is our job as people, because we're here to be happy. And that's what's going to get us happiness, is when we're true to that inner gut level being, saying, this is what I want, this is why I want it, and I'm going to fight for it with everything that I have, and you can't take it from me. So you beating down sun people on me that want to burn up my dream, I am going to shield this, I'm going to protect this, and you do it with love, and you do it with consideration, but you fight for it. When I was going through cancer, I had members in my own family, I'm not going to name them by name, but they were telling me that I needed to consider what the doctors were telling me and abort my baby, because I needed to save my own life and be there for, we have 5 children. That was baby number 6. And that was very difficult to have even people that I know out of their own loving and concern for me telling me something that I knew on my gut level I could not do, right? I knew on my gut level what was right for me. And so what you need to do is find out what's right for you on that gut level, like going deep and connecting with who you really are and what you really want. And I promise you, as you take those moments to ask yourself some deep questions, you're going to find it. So I hope this is making sense. Let me know in the comments if this is resonating with you or if I'm losing you at all. I know I'm jumping around between a couple different analogies here. But the ultimate idea is that when you have something that you want, you have to be the one to fight for it. no matter what anyone else says. And when you do that, you will live with a measure of peace and security inside yourself so that no matter what happens, you're okay. You are more than okay, actually, but you are thriving. You are living your bliss. You are living what you are called to do, not what anyone else is called to do. So when you choose to fight for your marriage, when you choose to say, this is what I want, I am committed to doing it no matter what. Watch out, world. Like all of you on here that are like at that level, big things are going to happen for you. Really big things. Okay. It might seem a little bit bleak. It might seem a little bit dark right now, but as you stay fast to that, I promise you, you're going to get there. I've seen it happen again and again and again. But what I also see happen, and this is what breaks my heart, is that people, I saw this with cancer, I saw this, working with people saving their marriages, is that then if you allow those doubts to creep in and you shift your focus from what you want to what you're afraid of, that's the dream killer right there. That shifts you out of that hope and into fear and frustration mode, and nothing really productive can happen in that mode. Okay, that's exactly how we destroy our own relationships, is because we're choosing to live with that fear and that doubt that's inside all of us. It is. At any moment, you can choose to see what is going wrong, and you will find it. At any moment, you can choose to see what is going right, and you will find it. So, what choice do you want to make? Which energy do you want to feed? Which energy is going to get you where you want to go? Speaking with a lot of boldness today, but that's because this is so important to me. I think that so many of us live on autopilot and we don't stop to realize what we're actually doing. So maybe this is a good wake-up call for some of you. All right. Sorry, I don't know how to say your name. Baloo, I don't know how to say your name. I'm sorry, but we've spoken before, so I'm happy to see you. What about when you are there and, okay. What about when you are there and are fighting with all your might, but your partner is not on the same page? Very good. Yes. And Mark Johnston, my partner here in the Thriving Marriage, has talked about this. And basically, the idea that you have to have your partner on board from the beginning is an absolute myth. It's an absolute myth, and we have busted it like the Mythbusters time and time and time and time and time again. Enough to say that I can say with absolute certainty, I know that when one person steps forward to save the marriage, that amazing things can happen in the relationship. See, what the difficulty is about when you're like depending on your spouse to do it with you is that they're probably not in a good place to do it with you, and they're not ready for it. But if you're ready for it, then you can start to work on things, and that will make amazing shifts happen very quickly in your relationship. I can give examples. I can, there's many people that we've worked on and with this. In fact, just let's see, what was it? About 2 weeks ago. It's the end of school year. Things are crazy right now with the kids. So time's a little bit warped, but I think it was about 2 weeks ago. We just helped a woman whose husband had moved out. They'd been separated for several months, and he was completely checked out. In fact, he wasn't even communicating with her anymore at all. Like, wouldn't respond to her texts, her phone calls, any of her, efforts, her fighting for the marriage, right? Like you're talking about here, that he was a closed door. He said, nope, I'm out, I'm done. I want a divorce, and they were separated, not living together, and no communication whatsoever for weeks before she came in with us. And she said, I want to do this. I have no idea how. And we said, that's okay. You want to do this. You are committed. You are decisive. You are resourceful. You will find a way, and we will help you get there. We know exactly how to help you get there. And so what we did is we worked with her on that. We showed her how to start the conversations with her husband again, and he responded. So that was the first victory, right? Is the fact that they were even talking at all together. They had conversations together. They were able to implement the training and the resources, the homework that we were giving them. And then very quickly, he moved back in, and they're continuing to work on their marriage, but they are better and happier than ever before. And, even stronger than they were going into the relationship. Because the truth is, so many of us don't even have the skills when we get married to know how to deal with marriage. Like, it's a complicated thing. You have two different people with, different personalities, different backgrounds, different upbringings, sometimes different cultures. You have the male-female gender, differences and communication errors that happen all the time, right? And you bring all of this junk with you, honestly, into the relationship, and then you expect it just to work out. It just doesn't happen usually like that. It takes a lot of work, and it takes certain skills that just simply aren't taught, because the truth is we model what we've learned from our parents. And so what we need to do is take a step back and be like, wow, you know what? I really don't know. I really don't know how to solve my problems. If I knew how to solve my problems, I wouldn't have any problems, right? But when you take that step back and you're given the right tools to move forward, then change can happen very quickly. But you have to be the one to focus on what you want rather than what you don't want. You're the one that has to shift your focus from this fear mentality, this frustration mentality, to one of hope, right? And when you're in that place of hope, like I said, you can move mountains. I've seen it done. So I hope that that answers your question. The reality is you can save your marriage by yourself. Don't wait for your partner. Don't wait, because they might not never come around if you're waiting for them. If you're constantly chasing after them, you can't control them. So I would encourage you, with deep love, deep respect, to let go of that notion, to say, I'm going to work on me for me, and I'm going to do this with the intention that I'm going to give it my all. And that's all I can do. And when you do that, you kind of release the negative pent up energy and the frustration energy, and then you allow for the love of that person to return to you. And you can then start to work on the foundation blocks that need to be there in your relationship. So hope that makes a little bit of sense there. Okay, thank you. Yeah, awesome. Lenore, yeah, thank you. I'm glad you like this. Thank you. All right, so that's a little bit about hope. We can talk more about that, but I really want to have you dig deep, and I want you to find that seed of hope. It is in you. It is. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be listening to me, this crazy lady, talking about cancer and all of that stuff. If you didn't have hope, you have hope. So connect to that hope and understand it might just be a little tiny seed right now. But as you continue to protect it and nourish it, those roots will go deeper and deeper and deeper to the point where you will be strong, and you will be, no matter what happens, no matter what storms of life come at you, you will be anchored in yourself and have a good understanding of what it is that you want. And that hope will become a knowledge. Hope becomes a belief, and then it becomes a knowledge. So that's the goal, is we nourish this hope and allow it to build up in our lives. Now, I want to talk briefly about the 3 levels of love, and do this in the light of hope. So first level of love is when you love the person because of what they do for you. You love how they make you feel. You love when they do certain things for you. You love the gestures that they do for you. And the way that your relationship works is that you love what they do for you. And then this is the first level of love, okay? Often, this is the level of love that we first fall into love with. There's no judgment about bad or good. It's just where we start, okay? Is that, I just love the way they make me feel. I've got butterflies. I'm on cloud 9. This person's just amazing. But really, it's because they make us feel special, and they have fallen in love with us, and we fall in love with them, okay? So we love what they do for us. However, this is just the first level of love, and it's actually a selfish form of love. Okay, stay with me on this. It's going to get better. But when you're only looking at what they do for you, then that's where the love ends, right? So that's the first level of love. The second level of love is the give and take. And this is where the majority of relationships evolve into being. It says, I'll meet your needs if you meet my needs. I'll communicate well with you if you communicate well with me. I will serve you. I'll take care of the kids if you help me and serve me and take care of this, right? And it's that give and take, kind of that push and pull of checks and balances. Is everything even? Are we an equal partnership? Are they giving me enough? No. Okay. So I'm not going to give them enough. I'm not really going to, allow myself to be, that open with them or vulnerable with them, different things like that. So it's the checks and balances. And this is where a lot of the struggle comes from in a relationship. If you're purely like on the selfish level, then you usually just check out once they stop giving you what you want. You just hit the road. You're done. Okay. That's why, probably 50% of marriages are still ending in divorce in America, is because we want the quick fix. We want it for me. Okay, he's not serving me. She's not thinking about me. And so because they're not meeting my needs, then I'm just going to go find someone else that's going to meet my needs. Okay. Second level is when you want the negotiation. And so you're always analyzing, are they giving enough to the relationship? Is everything equal here? If they're not, taking out the trash every week, does that mean then, maybe I shouldn't do this for them? And so that's exhausting, right? If any of you are caught in that, and like I said, the majority of marriages are in this kind of state where we look at the marriage kind of like as a contract, or yeah, I don't know, just like this checks and balances, constantly analyzing, are they giving me enough? Am I getting enough? Am I, am I measuring up? That kind of thing. So just going back and forth to make sure that everything's equal, right? Okay, that's level 2. Level 3 is unconditional love, where you love them with no thought of yourself, no thought of what you're going to get in return. No idea that, it's all about you or what you're going to benefit from it. You simply love them. You love them with their flaws. You love them with their weaknesses. You love them in sickness. You love them in health. You love them when the roles change in your relationship. You love them if they get hit by a car and end up a quadriplegic the rest of their life. You simply love them. You love them even if they don't meet all of your needs. You love them because you love yourself. And because you love yourself so much, you can give love freely with no expectation of what to get back in return. This is the kind of love that's idealized, right? This is the unconditional love. This is the kind of love that a parent usually has for their child. What makes the difference? Why do we feel like we can love our children unconditionally, but we can't love our spouse unconditionally? This is a big one that I would like to challenge you guys with, right? So having that kind of unconditional love. And I never knew what that love was. Honestly, I had the illusions of it, but I had never experienced it. Maybe on a certain level from my parents, they loved me, but not at the level that I didn't know that romantic love could reach this level until I went, like I said, I went through that. We got diagnosed with breast cancer, and I saw my husband love me and adore me and say I was beautiful and attractive, and not just words, but in his actions. And he stood by me every single step of the way. He was there when things got the hardest. He was there when I wanted to quit. He was there picking me up, right? He was just there. He was a constant rock. When I had surgery, I had a complete left mastectomy. So I had lost a breast. I was big pregnant and I was bald. I was poisoned. I was exhausted. I was scared out of my mind, but trying to hold fast to that hope. He gave me that hope when I didn't have it for myself. And my world completely changed when I realized the depth of his unconditional love for me, that he loved me no matter what, that all the conditions that I thought, being a good wife and keeping the house nice and raising the children and keeping myself beautiful and attractive and being pleasant to him and doing fun things together, having passion and going out and doing adventurous things. That's what I thought fueled love. And suddenly all of that was taken away. Everything was just gone. I couldn't get up. I couldn't take care of the kids. I couldn't cook. I couldn't clean. I couldn't go out on dates. I couldn't do all these fun, adventurous things. All of my passions came to a halt because I was simply in the fight of my life. But he was there, and it completely changed the way that I viewed love. And that is the third level of love. That is the level of love that we are capable of as human beings. And that is the kind of level of love to aspire to in a relationship. It is beautiful. And I'm blessed, and I share this with just, a great amount of appreciation and humility that I was able to experience that, because honestly, I wasn't deserving of it. And that's exactly why it was unconditional, because even though I wasn't deserving of it, he still gave it to me anyway. So with that being said, what is it that you want most in your relationship? What is your greatest hope for your marriage? And as you connect to that hope on that gut level, hold fast to it. Make a choice every single day to choose to focus on what you want. Choose to focus on having hope. And as you do that, you will get there. I can absolutely promise you that with all the certainty in my being. So here's to hope, and here's to us. Awesome. Well, I don't really see any other questions. So I'm going to give it maybe just a minute. But if you have a question for me, if you are struggling with this, go ahead and just PM me and we can chat about it. I'd be happy to help you with that. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And we will talk to you next time.